Rogers TV.
Every Wednesday morning at this time, we check in with our friends at the Blacklocks Reporter, which is the only reporter-owned and operated newsroom that covers the capital without politics or punditry. It's all original content that you'll find online at blacklocks.ca. It is subscription-based, but you pay for this kind of journalism that you're not getting anywhere else, and it is well worth that subscription price. Tom Korski is the managing editor there, and he joins us for these weekly conversations. Good morning, Tom.
Morning, Mike.
There is big news in the automotive industry. It's impacting Ontario, particularly Stellantis out of Brampton. It's going to Illinois. But didn't we, as a nation, a federal government, subsidize to the tune of several billions of dollars, many billions, in fact, to have Stellantis conduct operations here?
$15 billion in pledges in federal money. And you know, MPs have been after those contracts for years, quite literally, way back since 2022. Members of the Commons Industry Committee, Public Accounts Committee, Government Operations Committee, lots of MPs have wanted to get the terms of those contracts, since it is, in fact, public money. And you'll never guess what happened. They finally got it. Only now, MPs on the Government Operations Committee, Conservative and Bloc members, got enough votes, a majority, to override objections from Cabinet to see those contracts. And you know what they're looking for is the commitments on jobs. This sounds unbelievable, but it is true. Only a year ago, there were members of the Industry Committee who voted against an investigation to see if there was any ban in the contract against labor, because that happened. They said, are you kidding me that you would literally charge taxpayers to take jobs from Canadians, give it to foreign workers in the name of, climate change electric car mandates? And now they're finally going to get those contracts. It's going to be interesting, but that's a box of fireworks, though. Cabinet has really gone on to the wall to block that disclosure, Mike.
Suspecting perhaps, Tom, that there weren't any assurances of jobs or that Stellantis would even stay?
That's the Cabinet and successive ministers signed literally whatever was put in front of them. That it was like playing three-card Monte with these multinationals, and Cabinet gave away the barn. They $15 billion. Why wouldn't you make that contract public? Why wouldn't you tell the world? Look at the deal we got. But we know this Cabinet does have a fetish about secrecy. You know, the pandemic is not ancient history. Do you know Canada was the only G7 country that wouldn't disclose how much we paid for vaccines? Albania disclosed what it paid Pfizer for vaccines. This government wouldn't do it.
Secrecy is a very good word. It goes hand in hand with the Cabinet of late. And we have to remember, we talk about these big numbers. I think people get numb to them, Tom. It's our money. It's our money that is being used to subsidize these automakers.
It's your money, and I don't want to be dark, Mike, but the day will come when we need new playground equipment and textbooks for the schools, when you will need a wheelchair ramp at the old soldiers' home and money for health care, sick kids, and war widows' pensions, and the money is gone because we will be so deep in the hole, and the fastest growing line item in the federal budget is debt interest payments. This is serious money. $15 billion? Let's put it this way. That's about a third of the federal spending annually for health care, coast to coast, for one company on secret contracts. Not good enough.
All right, let's take a look at the Canada Revenue Agency. It's been in the news a little bit lately for not only doling out bad advice when people call into its call center, but also about half the time not even answering the phone. Didn't we spend considerable money to make these call centers operate more effectively?
Absolutely. For anyone who just woke up, if you're Rip Van Winkle, you say, wait a minute, inept Canada Revenue Agency call centers, didn't we audit that in 2017? We sure did. That was the late Auditor General, Michael Ferguson, uncovered that, where they sent in auditors to determine, do test questions. They called their 1-800 numbers, posing as tax filers, asking routine questions. They got wrong answers most of the time when they picked up the phone. And here we are, 8 years later, And another auditor did exactly the same audit and came to the same results. You know what's interesting is in that 8-year passage, as you correctly note, Mike, they spent $190 million with consultants to upgrade their call centers, and they hired almost 4,600 call center operators, and they still couldn't answer the phone, and I'll tell you why. For 7 of those 8 years, there was one revenue minister, God bless her heart. Her name was Diane Laboutellier. She was a social worker from Gaspé, Quebec, which means the revenue agency was on autopilot. And the next time you hear someone say, we have a problem in our town, whatever it is, won't the federal government help? And the answer is no, because they can't. They can't even answer a phone with $190 million in upgrades. How's that?
That is a metaphor for government today, is what that is. Yes, sir. I want to talk a little bit about the Department of Foreign Affairs, Tom, because you know, one of the things we talk about in this country a lot is housing and how difficult it is for the average Canadian to put a roof over their heads. That's not the case, though, for our consul in New York, Mr. Tom Clark, and his $9 million Manhattan penthouse.
It was some roof. It was really a beautiful, beautiful roof. There was a marble bathroom, and the flooring was quartzite. If anyone has ever gone to install flooring, no, you don't even bother pricing quartzite. Like only eccentric millionaires put in quartzite flooring. Granite countertops, of course. Any other countertops, that's for losers. He got a German coffee maker, cost $4,600. The condo fees and the taxes, this is in United States dollars, $15,000 a month. And MPs learned of this purchase. It's at Central Park. It's a beautiful location. It's a real party palace. And Tom Clark testified as Ned the poor houseboy. We were led to believe it was almost a hostage taking. Tom didn't know what was going on. He said this had nothing to do with me. MPs called him a liar to his face, and he took it. And now MPs have sent a report up to the House of Commons. Keep an eye on this one. This could be very far-reaching. They say we want appraisals on all your offshore real estate over $5 million. We want double appraisals, no jiggery and no pokery. And we want all real estate transactions in writing from here on in. Yeah, that's right. It's 2025. And MPs are telling the Department of Foreign Affairs to keep all real estate transactions in writing. We're reaching for the stars, Mike.
No, but, you know, I'm glad you said what was on my mind. Let's keep our eyes on this one, because this is the stuff you do at the Blacklocks Reporter that keeps us informed. And you can bet, Tom, you can bet I'll be keeping my eyes on this one. One more I want to touch on with you before I let you go today, and that is a challenge to our federal Mother Corp broadcaster, the CBC, that is being accused of some anti-conservative bias. Say it ain't so from the Mother Corp, Tom.
And the call is coming from inside the House. That's the best part. This is Senator Andrew Cardozo. If you're a Toronto Star reader, you might recall he used to write the odd column for the Star, and he's a long-time Liberal Party organizer in the Greater Toronto area, now a senator. And Senator Cardozo, who's a huge fan of the CBC, just asked him, of all people, went to the Senate Transport Communications Committee, and he said, I have a problem with bias with CBC reporters under the guise of fact-checking. He said, you like to fact-check conservative members more than liberal members. What did he say? Consistently and quite aggressively, and to quote, either you fact-check everybody or you don't. Well, CBC executives who were testifying were aghast. Say it ain't so. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Bias under the guise of fact-checking in our newsroom? It's inconceivable. But when the call's coming from inside the House, they're running short on friends, Mike. They could use some friends, quite desperately.
I wonder where they might find them.
Well, not among their viewers or listeners.
They can fact-check the places to find new friends. Tom, always appreciate the conversation. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mike.
Tom Korski is the managing editor of the Blacklocks Reporter. It is well worth your time. and a little bit of money at blacklocks.ca for the subscription. This is all original content, the only reporter-owned and operated newsroom that covers our nation's capital with neither politics nor punditry. I love what I learn and then what we can keep our eyes on moving forward. And how about it? Somebody who was as friendly to the CBC as can be is now raising some eyebrows and asking some questions about potential bias. And oh yeah, those reports on the real estate holdings of the Department of Foreign Affairs, something to keep our eyes on. Tom Korski, the managing editor at Blacklock's Reporter, joins us every Wednesday morning at 10 right here on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.